So I've dabbled in sewing on and off at least half my life, but it's always been in group settings like classes at school or outside of school, and I've never really tried to learn on my own at my own pace. So I thought, why not give it a go now that I've got my own sewing machine for the first time, and I've really been feeling inspired to make some cute things for my daughter. She just turned 2 years old and it's a fun age. So the first thing that I decided to make was this name banner. I don't know if you can see the whole thing in the shot. There's like a million videos on how to make this on TikTok and Instagram and Pinterest. I'm sure you would have come across so many different ways to make this as well. I didn't use any particular pattern. I just found a font that I liked on Procreate, and then I just made it big enough, printed it out, used it as a stencil. And then I have these scalloped scissors, scalloped, I don't know. I got it off Amazon. It was pretty affordable, like 20 something dollars, I have no idea, but I'm definitely going to use it again, so it's worth it. And they feel really strong and sturdy. But I used the scallop design to cut the edges of the material, and then the middle layer is just a foam, or no, it's not foam, it's batting, I think it's called. It was my first time buying batting. This was such great practice to learn to sew around different edges and curves. It was just good practice to try and learn control of the sewing machine. I definitely didn't learn it in one project, but it's a start. The only thing is the fraying of the material. There's really nothing I can do to stop that, or at least I don't know what to do to stop that. But because it is more of a decorative piece, I feel like we should be okay. I don't think it's gonna fray too much because it's not like I'm always touching it. And the other thing is I just hand sewed the letters to a rope that I got at Spotlight. But yeah, this is a really cute first project and I highly recommend it. If you look close enough at any of the projects that I'm going to show you today, you'll see that there's 1 billion errors on each one. Stitches are wonky. I'm pretty sure one of the next projects I'm going to show you, I've got a hole in it already, so I need to hand stitch that. I feel like if you're a professional sewist, whatever the right word is, and you looked at my work, you'd find you'd find so many mistakes. But what I'm learning is it doesn't even matter, because I feel like it looks so cute even with the mistakes. If anything, it kind of adds a certain charm to it. I'm still learning. I still feel really good and proud of myself when I've finished a project, even when the project's starting to come together and I'm like, oh my God, this is actually turning into something, it's working. I feel so good and I'm so excited to display it, to use it, and turns out it didn't have to be perfect all along. So if you're worried about getting stuff wrong, or you think you can't do it properly, or I don't know, if you're just waiting for the perfect opportunity, just do it anyway and let yourself get it wrong, let yourself stuff up, because it's gonna feel just as great and it's gonna look just as good regardless. So the next thing that I'm currently working on, but almost done, are these fairy wings. They have little straps on the back for my daughter to put her arms through, and they are so cute. I'm really proud of these. As I mentioned before, heaps and heaps of mistakes. There's fabric bunching. Like, I really struggled with sewing around each of these sort of curves and like controlling the sewing machine and the speed and everything. But overall, I'm really happy with it. And I thought my daughter wouldn't wear it. I thought she'd just not understand what it is, or she'd just be like, get this thing off my back. But she actually loves it and she asks to wear it every time she sees it. So it's so worth it. With these fairy wings, I got the pattern off a woman that I found on TikTok. So she's made video tutorials, step-by-step video tutorials on how to make these. Plus she sells a pattern for them on Etsy. I bought the pattern. I do think you can probably make this without a pattern. Like, you can just make your own pattern at home. If you are able to draw a rough fairy or butterfly shape, you'll be fine. But it was nice to have some extra guidance, seeing as this is like my second project that I'm attempting by myself ever. I'm just literally finding more and more weird things that are wrong with this as I'm talking to you. But anyway, so this has a foam in the middle, and then I got this fabric from Spotlight. I have literally no idea what fabric this is. Oh, I think it was a quilting fabric. And I thought that was a good idea for fairy wings, just to give it some structure and stability. I didn't want like a super silky, flowy material for this. And she recommended putting a wire through the top of it, which was a great idea because it was super floppy in the beginning, but now it holds its own shape. And it was one of my first times working on elastic. It has not ruched super well, and it took me ages to figure out how to even make it like crinkly and ruched like that. But anyway, we got there in the end. So all that's left for me to do is stitch the design of the wing on this side, because I've done this side already, and then I just need to sew the bottom closed. But otherwise, it's all done. So one thing I did struggle with actually is when I purchased the pattern online on Etsy, there was only a print at home A4 version available, and when I printed it on my home computer and I pieced it all together, some of the parts fit really well and some of them looked compressed, like the lines were just mismatched no matter what I did. And I was researching online and trying to figure out what I was doing wrong or how I can fix it. And it turns out there's some kind of dimension difference between US printing and Australian printing. Anyway, I lost patience and I kind of just winged it and filled in the blank with my own drawing, even though the pattern didn't match. And we survived and things were still fine. So there is room for imagination, creativity, and your own thinking, even if the pattern doesn't make sense to you entirely, I guess. And also it's a bit forgiving because this isn't a piece of clothing that needs to fit me properly. It doesn't really matter if these wings are a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller than they're supposed to be. So yeah, super proud of this. So the final item that I wanted to share with you guys is the one that I'm most excited about. It is the Elio baby pants. You might have seen these online. They're really popular. I'll link the pattern maker below, or I'll include it in the video. But they're little toddler barrel leg style pants that I am so freaking proud of, because this is the first piece of clothing that I think I've ever made. I made it in the most simplest option, so I didn't include pockets or anything. I kind of just felt like, this being my first garment ever, I didn't really want to add on any extra learning than what was already happening. But the material is so cute. I just got it from Spotlight. I didn't go too crazy finding anything too fancy, because I just didn't know how it would turn out. But I'm so proud of these. They do fit my daughter as well, which is always a nice bonus. They are a little bit cropped, but hey, I love crop pants on myself, so that's fine. I am working on a matching top as well. It's currently looking like a little skirt or a strapless top, but I will add sleeves to it and she can wear it together. And yes, if you're in Australia, we are in winter, but she can wear it with a long sleeve underneath. Maybe to my mum's birthday this weekend, I don't know, but it's just so cute. Like, I can't get over it. I can see why sewing is so addictive. I want to make like 5 more pairs of these in different colors, and I'd love to make like a flannel pajama set for her as well. She's currently loving Bluey and Spidey and Friends and Moana. I just want to make it in like all the prints, all the kids prints. But yeah, this experience has been really nice. I've dabbled in sewing courses and classes here and there in my life. I think sewing classes can be really beneficial in that you get to meet new people, have sort of that community vibe, learn from an expert teacher, ask questions if you get stuck. But for me personally, it did teach me a lot of the basics, and it got me used to things like threading a sewing machine and, you know, how to sew a straight line, how to sew a zigzag, just sort of basic things like that. However, when it comes to classes, I do often get caught up in trying to keep up with the rest of the class. and trying not to look silly. And when an instruction is given to me, I don't really question why it is we're doing that. I just kind of follow blindly and hope for the best. But I think I really enjoy sewing things on my own, at least at the moment when I'm very, very beginner, because I can go as slow as I want. I don't have to be worried about what everyone else is doing and trying to keep up with them and trying not to look silly. I can just kind of go at my own pace. I don't know, just moving very, very slow works well for me. And in this case, it definitely paid off because I ended up with a pair of pants. And yes, maybe it took like 10 pairs, 10 times longer than what the average person would take to make these, but I don't care. I almost cried when these were done. Like, it might seem like a dumb thing to cry about, but I'm like really, really proud.